Good evening, Roger. Good evening, Roger.
Good evening. Am I the only one tonight?
You got 2 pairs of glasses on.
Yeah, that's my reading one, and then that's the distance one. Yeah.
So you can see out the back of your head.
Yeah. Hang on.
Good evening, Joanna.
Hi, Andy.
Fancy seeing you here.
I know you miss me.
I do indeed.
Sorry for the camera off, but as you know, tradition is tradition, and I'm eating.
I'm drinking.
And because I don't want to make everyone jealous, I don't want everyone to see me eating.
Sharon's just ordering me a chicken curry.
Oh, that wouldn't make me jealous.
No, me neither.
I haven't had one for ages. I just said I fancied one tonight. Chicken curry and chips.
What does one thing has to do with the other, if I may ask?
Yeah, chicken curry and chips and rice. It's all nice.
It's like pizza and chips.
It's an
I've never heard of pizza and chips
Joanna.
until I came to England.
So I also got a hot drink now. Because Sharon's just come back from Swimming World, so nobody stayed over. I'm already recording, so you don't need to remind me.
I was just about to say, Andy, don't forget to record.
Yeah, I'm already
Oh,
recording.
so everyone is going to know that I'm having pizza.
Move your camera up. Let's see half your head. That's better.
Hi, Tash.
Yeah.
We can barely hear you, darling.
Oh God, yeah, it's been a bit, I don't know, it's a bit quiet.
Something wrong in your microphone sounds or something or other.
So what have you got in store for us tonight?
You'll see in a few minutes.
Just be brave, Roger.
Yeah.
Go out and run around the garden.
We only have 45 minutes film this, and then it cuts off on 44 minutes on the 44 minutes. Yeah.
I'll be on there next week. So.
That's good, sorry.
So I got a new credit card today.
Oh, are you going to treat us?
Yeah, that's,
American Express.
So well, you can spend plenty on it.
Oh,
so it's takeaway, carrying chips all round.
They give me a credit limit of £10,000.
Oh, but that's all right. We all come round. When can we come round?
Yeah.
Trouble is
Yeah.
you pay it back, so
At the end of March, when the bad weather is gone.
What bad weather. I enjoyed myself out there today, picking catalogues up. It was great fun.
George, you got a headache, George?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, I've had a load of paracetamol today.
Well, it's just come on, but I still haven't shifted my cold properly yet. So
That's one thing I've been very fortunate with. I haven't really had a cold.
well, to be fair, I can't remember the last time I had one. It was like over a year ago. So I can't grumble, but I've had it a fortnight now, and it's nearly gone. But
Is that when you were 41?
yeah, well, thanks.
That's just over a fortnight ago.
I've had to go to work these 3 days, driving in this snow. It's been quite fun, actually.
All right. I don't think I've really left the house since Tuesday when we were picking up our books.
Yeah, I only went out because I had to go to work, but I'm glad I got a 4x4 tonight coming home.
Well, we had well, it hasn't affected our deliveries because we ordered on Tuesday and we had a goods this morning. So
The
yeah, it
mostly
didn't affect
tomorrow.
mine either, Andy.
But I went out and collected some catalogues, and it's probably the best pickup I've had for a good few weeks.
Yeah.
Well, mine are going out on Monday, my book. That'll be fun.
Are Roger and David back on target for their targets this period?
Oh, not for no.
We're on the way.
Andy, just wanted to ask one thing. Are you planning on doing like an catalogue training? No, not tonight. I'm not saying tonight, but sometime soon.
I can do a catalogue. I can do it just like I say. I've got the normal induction and I've got catalogue induction. So
Okay.
to do a catalogue induction, I can do a catalogue induction. It's something we were talking about on the leadership training, wasn't it? That we're just focusing online. We should be we should be getting more catalogue people because anyway, I'm going to get on with tonight's training.
All right.
Otherwise, I won't get it in.
It cut me off in the pie of my life again, otherwise.
Share screen. Am I sharing screen? Okay. Share screen. Okay. Okay, let's just move that over. Okay, so it's the 1st of March today. Wow. Supposed to be the first day of spring or something, or spring starting.
It is. Enjoy it.
Where's the spring?
Okay, in the bed.
Bouncing around somewhere.
Yeah. Okay, so we're stronger together. That's the message this year. And I haven't seen an email yet. They said that the K Life is going to be launched this week, and they're going to send us information about it later in the week. So I'm guessing it's going to come tomorrow with EW.
Well, they picked up early today, didn't they? So.
Okay, so upcoming events. Obviously, the meeting in Dublin, whether that's going to go ahead or not. I had a chat with Elaine earlier. She's had 9 inches. And I said it's the first time she's had 9 inches for a long while. We are talking about snow. So not sure if that's going to go ahead. Then there's the Summer Showcase, 2nd of June in Cheltenham, and the Gala Dinner on the 1st of September. If you weren't aware, Dublin is going to have their Gala Dinner. Esther just popped on. Hello, Esther. If you're not aware that the Irish are going to have their Gala Dinner after the January.
And the big one is next month for anyone in this area, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. 10 Steps workshops. See, David's stealing my thunder. Bristol, the 15th of April, 10th of June, and 12th of August. They're running one every 3 months. And Barnsley, 22nd of April, because they're not running one in March because of the big one.
Goes what? Sorry.
Okay. So your 10-step success system. I'm going to reiterate this every meeting because it's important that you're aware of it and new people are. First step 1 is introduction to the system. It's a duplicable system, it's documented, and it's retail driven. And it's designed to provide people with that residual stroke royalty income. Step 2 is the personal development. Try and get rid of that. There. Okay. By having knowledge, gaining skills, having a great attitude, you'll end up with competence. And that's the whole idea, is to create competence, create leaders, and plug into the core reading. Goal setting and planning, which is what I'm going to be talking about mainly tonight. It's checking that you're making progress, setting business goals, personal goals. You need to keep them separate, but the business will provide the income to allow your personal goals to happen. And you've got to break them down to short, medium, and long term. Lead generation and knowing your numbers. You've got to track your ratios. If you don't know how many leads it takes for you to sign somebody in, it's difficult for you to plan how many adverts you need to put out, how many leaflets you need to place, how many postcards you need to put out, etc. So you need some sort of tracking system for both tracking your retail online and via catalogues. And also tracking your personal development. The telephone process is very important. Opening, asking questions. Set the agenda, asking questions. giving the information and going to come to a conclusion. And we use the script book for that. And it teaches you how to handle responses. How we show the business. Okay. And how to follow up an online registration. Okay. Some will, some won't. So what? Stop whinging. Someone's waiting. Next. And then gain commitment from people. Step 8, getting started. By the way, just go back, keep committing from people. People lie to you, unfortunately. So I signed in somebody last week who last Thursday was on the training, and they were going to do this, that, and the other. And since last Thursday, done nothing, responded to nothing. There's not a lot you can do. If they won't answer your call, you have to move on. So don't get yourself upset. It happens to all of us. Step 8, getting started. We try to get people started within the 24 hours of joining. On Zoom, to build rapport. I tend not to talk to people on the phone if I can avoid it. I try to do it on Zoom, especially the first calls, because if there's any questions they've got, we can do a share screen, go through the ordering procedures, etc., etc. Better to show somebody how to do something than tell somebody how to do something. Find out what their priorities are, then gain commitment. Do a plan with them, sort out daily slips if they need them, go through the checklist, make sure their Facebook group is up and running, and then send them email and induction. As I said, on a Thursday night now at 7:30, we will be running an induction prior to the event, so you can book in people when you sign them up. Promoting events. Oh, by the way, I would tell them, look, I'm going to do a fast start training with you, but there is a formal induction. Otherwise, people think they've already done it. Because what we'll do is we'll make sure that we've covered everything. Promoting events, that pays you huge money. People come to the events. It's the glue that holds the team and the system together, and you must promote it in advance. That's why we always have the events on the training, and we use that reason why the reason why they're in the business is the reason why they should come to the events. And your business turnover will be a direct result of the number of team members you have attending the events. And step 10 is coaching, duplication, and leadership. We learn, copy, and coach the system. We don't divert from the system whatsoever. The system will build your business, because when people understand it, they're more or less self-sufficient. Then it's about honing the skills. And that's where the coaching comes in, encouraging and support. Duplication. We're following the system, we're edifying the system, we're promoting the system. And we need to set a good example and be positive about everything, even when things don't necessarily always go right, as we had last year. So let's talk about 2 people join the business on the same day. Both of them put out their catalogues and have a poor pickup. Also plays over 100 ads online and get no orders. Yet one of them goes on and builds a network and develops £100,000 a year income, and the other one quits. Now, this isn't always the case, but what's the difference between the two? Well, what I'm going to say to you is, it's all about desire and the wanting to do something. So, winners must have 2 things: definite goals and a burning desire to achieve them. It's too easy not to bother. When you talk about starting somebody up for 20 quid, it's not a lot of money. You can go out and have a bad meal for that. Yeah. Michael Jordan. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in his career. He's lost almost 300 games. 26 times he's been trusted to take the game-winning shot and he's missed. He's failed over and over and over again, and that's why he succeeds. He doesn't let it affect him. He knows it's going to happen. And you're going to speak to people who won't join. You're going to join people who don't do anything. It doesn't make a difference. You just have to go through the numbers. Because if you don't go through the numbers, you will always have people who do join and don't do anything. But if you've got a smaller number, you'll have a bigger proportion of people not doing anything. The same goes for people who actually go out and really build the business. You need to have the numbers. Colonel Sanders. This is when they used to have chicken.
Yeah, they run out now.
Eh?
They run out of chicken the other week.
They run out of chicken, yeah. His fried chicken recipe was rejected 1,009 times before a restaurant accepted it. How many people would have given up?
Oh, plenty.
Yeah, exactly.
Plenty.
Thomas Edison says, not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that it won't work. That's how many times he had to, he knew that he could create an electric light bulb, but he didn't give up. He carried on until he actually did it. Roger Bannister, the man who can drive himself further once the effort gets painful is the man who'll win. Okay. Roger Bannister is the guy who broke the 4-minute mile. First time, and within days of him doing it, loads of people were doing it because suddenly there was belief that it could be done. Doctors and scientists said breaking the 4-minute mile was impossible. One would die in the attempt. Thus, when I got up from the track after collapsing at the finish line, I figured I'd died or I was dead.
That's good.
Right? But the amazing thing is, once one person had done it,
Everybody does it.
there was loads of people doing it. It was said that it takes 3 months to go gold. Then all of a sudden, people were going gold in their first full period. Now more people are doing it because it's been done. It's no longer hearsay or whatever else. If Howard Schultz gave up after being turned down by banks 242 times, there'd be no Starbucks. Well, maybe there should be no Starbucks. But
anyway.
All you need to do is put on your future goggles. In other words, picture where you're going to be in 5 years' time, 10 years' time. And if you continue doing what you're doing now, will you be any further forward towards that goal? Or do you need to change something? We have the 10-step system, and step 3 is all about goal setting and planning. So, it's a little story. A man was in Africa and he saw a load of people carrying bricks. And he went over to the first man and said to him, he says, what are you doing? He says, well, I'm carrying bricks to build a building. I said, okay. We moved on. And he spoke to the second man. And he says, what are you doing? He says, I'm carrying bricks to build a wall. I said, okay. And he spoke to the third man. And he says, what are you doing? He said, I'm building a church. And when it's built, there'll be hundreds of people in here praising Lord, celebrating life, etc. The third man had already built the church in his mind before he saw it. Every building that is actually made is seen in somebody's eyes and on a piece of paper before it actually becomes what it is. It has to be seen first in somebody's imagination before it can be actually developed. It's an idea. Because a person with a clear purpose will make progress on even the roughest road. However, counter to that, a person with no purpose will make no progress even on the smoothest road. Because they don't know where they're going. This business is easy to do. What do? We sell some products, either by catalogue or online. We introduce a few people and teach them how to sell some products and introduce some people. We all need, however, motivation to get the job done. And it's essential that you have specific goals that you're working towards in the business. Otherwise, you won't push yourself. There's lots of different material. We keep talking about personal development in the leadership group, and 7 strategies to wealth and happiness, design your best year ever, 7 habits of highly effective people, and the power of momentum. In the workbook, there are areas where you can fill out your business goals and also your personal goals, toys, adventures, that type of thing. But I'm going to go through it in a bit more detail now, what you should be doing. Okay, That's a goal. Now, Man City are playing Arsenal tonight. And after the first 30 minutes, it's 3-0 to Man City. Away at Arsenal. Man City know how to score. They've got a goal to win the Premier League. Now, a few years ago, in 2015, Leicester were at the bottom of the table. But they won 7 out of their last 9 games to stay up. And the following season, they won the title. Why did they win the last 7 out of 9? Because they knew the goal was to win. And that's all they focused on. They needed to win to remain up. So, goals. People who don't have any goals usually end up working for people that do. Businesses are grown and developed by people who have got goals that they want to achieve. Otherwise, they wouldn't run the businesses. So what is a goal? It's basically a dream. But the difference is it's actually got a deadline on it. And that's the biggest issue that most people have. If I said to people, if you won £1 million on lottery, what would you spend it on? They could no doubt come up with a list. But they don't have the belief that they actually would win £1 million on the lottery. The thing is that if you earn £40,000 a year, you're more or less having a millionaire's lifestyle, because that's the sort of interest that if you put £1 million in the bank, then you earn yourself £40,000 a year in interest. Once you've got your goal and then you've got your plan, you can sleep well at night because you know what you're doing and where your focus should be each day. So first of all, you've got to have a strong enough desire to obtain it. Otherwise, you just won't do it. People achieve extraordinary things when they have a big enough desire to do so. Now, you mothers will follow with what I'm about to say. We've often heard of people who lift cars off their children. Okay. How can they do that? It's because their desire is so strong that nothing gets in the way. The thought of it being too heavy doesn't enter their mind. The focus is, the car is on my child. I need to get that car off my child. Okay. So what makes the difference between somebody who achieves massive results and those that don't? It's usually how driven they are to achieve. If it doesn't matter, will you go that extra mile? I suggest not. So, if you knew you had to do something, otherwise the consequences would be so catastrophic, they would ruin your life, would you do what needed to be done? I'm sure you could all think of examples of, if you didn't do this, then you'd lose your house, or you'd lose your car, or something would happen. For instance, you got a child and they needed a kidney. Would you give up your kidney? I'm certain that most parents would say yes, and at the drop of a hat. Okay. So it needs to be something of that ilk that, you know, find something that will drive you to this extent and you will achieve. Because it won't matter how many people say no. Because if you speak to 100 people, do 100 presentations, and you know you only need one good person out of every 100, and that could give you £50,000 a year income, would it matter about all the no's? Because you're looking for the yes. Once you get emotionally attached, the difference will be amazing. Now, most people don't understand that if they end up not pushing themselves, they may well end up in life struggling in their 50s, 60s, 70s. I would know about the 50s. You need to discover what's going to make you emotionally attached. Some people find burning their bridges motivates them. If you speak to Tony and Miura Judson, who are premiers in the business and are upline, and they've been a distributor of the year with the company, that if they want to push themselves, they'll go and spend a load of money. Okay. For instance, they bought themselves a house in Spain and wanted to, what do you call it? I can't remember the name of the pool now. it looks like it continues over and over. I can't remember the name of what it is now. But basically, that motivates them. It stimulates them into action. However, sometimes for some people, these commitments make them stressed, and they're less able to commit. It basically immobilises them. It scares them to death. So that is no good for some people. So why doesn't everybody set goals? If it seems so important, why doesn't everybody set goals? Well, I suggest the main reason is that most people haven't been taught how to do so. Okay, they haven't been taught the importance of having a deadline. It's like, for instance, Joanne is studying, and she has a timetable. She needs to be at a certain class. She has dates of when projects need to be in, and if she doesn't get them in, she'll fail her course. And I'm sure she doesn't want to do that, so she makes sure they're done. Now, some won't set goals because it commits them to something. And some people won't do it because they have a fear of failure. Some people even have a fear of success. I actually had a lady who went out, in her first week, she got £500 worth of orders and she quit. Because she was more successful than she thought it was going to be, and she couldn't cope with it.
What?
Which was mad. But there you go. These things happen.
It is mad.
Okay, so your next step is to find out what will drive you to succeed. And the only way you can do this is by doing this exercise. So I suggest you take some notes of what I'm about to say to you. How do we set goals? Well, first of all, you've got long range goals. And that's, what do I want within the next 1 to 10 years? All right. The key to this is doing it, taking as little time as possible, writing as many things as possible. The whole idea is to get things that come to your front of your head. If you have to think about what do I want too long, it isn't really something you want. I'll take. All right. And all you need to do is take between 12 and 15 minutes for the whole exercise, and use a stopwatch or something or an alarm. Try to write down at least 50 different items, and don't go into detail. It can be a new shed. It can be, new person. One of my goals is to have £1,000 in my wallet. I haven't achieved it yet. I want to be able to have that in my wallet, the spare cash, so that if something happens, I've got the money there. Now, to help you get started, what you need to do is use these as guidelines. First of all, ask these questions to yourself. What do I want to do? What do I want to be? What do I want to see? What do I want to have? Where do I want to go? And what would I like to share? For instance, what do I want to do? It might be a skydive. What do I want to be? I might be an example to my children. What do I want to see? Sharon wants to go to Omarang, I can't even say it now, for the Christ thing. It happens only every 10 years. What do I want to have? It could be loads of things. We've got a whole list of things we want to have. Where do I want to go? By the way, you may or may not be aware, but the curve is Les Miserables is coming to the curve. Me and Sharon are members, and we're going, and we were going to ask people if they wanted to go as well, maybe on the same date, because we'll get the chance to get tickets first before everybody else. And if some people are interested, then we can always get a group up. But
The
anyway,
what? Sorry?
Les Mis.
Don't know
It's
what
coming
it
to
is.
Leicester. And what would I like to share? So for some people, this is their goal. It seems so far away. And what we do is we break it down in little steps. So what we do is we review our list. Against each item, we write down how long you believe it will take you to achieve it, i.e. 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, or 10 years. Check to see if your goals are in balance. For example, we can find loads of 10-year goals, very few 1-year goals. All that means is you're putting off having to act now by postponing the target date. On the other hand, however, if you have very few long-term goals, perhaps yet you're not decided what kind of life you'd like to build over the long run. The key is to develop a balance between shorter and long-term goals. Right. It's quite important that you have the balance because they're stepping stones. Now, once you've reviewed and balanced your list, you just choose 4 goals from each of the 4 time categories, 1, 3, 5 and 10 years, that you consider are the most important to you. You now have 16 goals. For each of them, then write a short paragraph which includes the following: a detailed description of what you want. For example, if it's a material object, describe how high, how long, how much, what model, what colour, and so on. On the other hand, if it's a business goal within the business, obviously, give a detailed description including structure, title, likely earnings, number of people in your business, and so on. So you want to be SUD for 5 gold legs, each turning over at least £10,000. Then, this is the biggie. The reason why you want to achieve or acquire the item described. Here, you'll find out if you really want it or it's just a passing fancy. Because if you can't come up with a clear and convincing reason why you want it, you should categorise this item as a win and not as a true goal, and replace it with something else that's more important. In other words, it's a nice to have. Because what you want is a powerful motivator only if there's a good reason behind it. You might find some goals, once you've considered important, no longer have appeal, simply because you're unable to find a good enough reason for wanting them. That's good, because doing this time is causing you to reflect, refine, and revise. That's the whole point, to help you plan your future and get you more determined to achieve your goals. And once you've settled on your 16 goals, copy them to a separate sheet of paper or onto a permanent journal and carry them around with you. Also, make yourself a goal board. I should have brought ours up. We've got ours downstairs. Actually, we're in the process of reviewing it. And we get pictures of the items we want and we put them on there. So it's in our clear view on a daily basis. We review them once a week. Well, we don't do that, to be totally honest. We do it probably once a month. To see if they're still important and if they are taking active steps towards their realisation. As you can see, goal set is not a one-time task with a result set in concrete. Instead, it's a continuous lifelong process. One thing that myself and Sharon wanted, we wanted a new bathroom and we wanted a new kitchen. So what we've done is we've had 2 or 3 companies out for both the kitchen and the bathroom. They've taken measurements, we've gone to the showrooms, we've picked out the designs we want, how it would fit in, and we've got prices. We now know exactly what we need to do to be able to achieve those goals. And then reward yourself. As you take a little step each way towards a goal, give yourself, and these rewards must be things that you wouldn't have had if you weren't in the business. And it could be just a new pair of shoes. It could be going to a theatre show. For instance, we've just spent £200 on 2 tickets to go and watch War of the Worlds in Nottingham on its final tour. Final time it's going to be touring the world in December this year. It's a show we've been to before, but we wanted to go again. You need to find your driving force. Share it with others. Now, when I say share it with others, only share it with those people who are open-minded about goals, because you do not want anybody to deride what you're trying to do. Because some people, for some reason, are not the right people to share it with and then achieve it. So, what I would say between now and next Thursday is to set yourself some goals, then talk to your sponsor about what you need to do within the business to achieve those goals, and then demolish them. Especially important for those on the leadership group, because next Thursday will be the end of the period and you'll be moving into a new period. We've set goals for this period, but you need to be thinking about your goals for the following period based on what you've done this period, what you've set yourself targets to do, and how you've got on with them. Okay. Okay. So that's covered everything I wanted to cover tonight. Has anybody got any questions at all?
No.
Did you find? Have you got a goal board? Have you got goals written down?
I do have goals written down, but I'm going to revise them.
Roger, David,
I've got goals, yeah.
you know, can't see your goals on the. What you got? 16.
Where?
Have you got 16 goals for
I haven't got
1
16
year, 3 year,
goals.
5 year? And
No, I haven't got the 16 up there. I've got the main ones up there behind me, but
get yourself 16 goals.
Mm.
Same with yourself, Esther. Okay, Georgina, Tash, everybody else. Okay. Now, is there anything in particular that you'd like me to cover next week? Just think about, you know, the way the marketplace is going as well, by the way. 2 big companies, Toys R Us and Maplins. Don't know if you've heard of them both.
Toys R Us, yes.
Maplins is in electronics, which is one of the biggest growth areas. You know, networking and cables and all this, that, and the other. And
Got
both
one down the road from me.
gone into administration. People have not got security in a job. They need to have a plan B.
What's wrong with Toys R Us?
Gone into administration.
How is that possible?
It's been coming for a few months.
It's been having problems for a little while, but it went into administration yesterday.
Well, I'm saying this because at least in my country, they're like the major toy.
There won't be now.
yeah,
It means that they'll close in every country that they are based.
Yes, Toys R Us as generally as a company.
Oh no!
Because
Johnny,
the
you're
thing is,
close,
their
Toys R Us.
face is online.
Oh no! I can't. I love going there and just grab the plush animals and just hold them like that. Did you?
Was that
I would
kids
buy all the
there?
plush animals if I could. Like this says it all.
Exactly. All right. You need to think, you know, the way the market's going, you know what your plans are in life. If you're reliant on somebody else employing you, you can't guarantee being in work. I had somebody say the other day, I need a guaranteed job. I need a guaranteed income. Okay. What have you been doing for the last, you know, what's your current situation? I'm unemployed. How long have you been employed? 18 months. You think, hang on a minute. Guaranteed 18 months you've been out of work. It's not working for you, your plan. All right. All right. So have a go at that. And I'll speak to you all soon. I'll upload this training quite shortly. Have a good evening. And I will speak to others on leadership on Monday. All right.
See you Monday.
Good night, everybody.
No.
Andy.